you really seek God for inspiration. And I was thinking about the Christmas Carol. See that movie that's been reinvented time and time again? And how it goes on about the past, the present, and the future. I was going to show a clip for the Christmas Carol about the past. But it's always ghosts and stuff in it. That was the story. And I thought, it's not really great if the kids are in. It's about ghosts. But there's another clip I'm going to share. But it's about history. Our history and how it affects our lives today. Especially during this time of year. When you were young, it was amazing, wasn't it? It was Santa's coming. I wonder if I got what I asked for. And it was just memories, good memories after good memories. But I guess sometimes as you get older, the people that you shared life with years ago are not here any longer. And the pals that you maybe shared loads of time with and good times with are not here anymore. Some have just naturally drifted. I just thought I would take a morning to speak about grief and sadness. And I think it's the right time to say it because sometimes if we get closer to Christmas, them that go through these feelings will maybe decide more to bide away than come. I'm not under no illusion that as we sing the most wonderful time of year, some people find this time of year the most wearisome time of year. And I'm not second guessing Father is, because I think sometimes them that look like they are together, and there's sometimes their personality tendency is to deal with exuberance and happiness. Sometimes behind the scenes, they're sad. And then they come to a place like us, and they can just be naturally exuberant. And you kind of second guess somebody's story and somebody's heart. Because some people that go through stuff would probably still say, I've got Jesus, that's enough, and I'll enjoy this season, even though they have obviously suffered loss. But some that's got loads of material possessions, loads of stuff, behind the scenes, can be in sadness, can be in turmoil, and can have anxiety and grief. But when they show up to a place like us, everything's fine. So I didn't want to second guess. I'm not speaking to just people that you have obviously had a bad year. I'm speaking to everybody, especially for them that are approaching this because their history and they're carrying something of grief. And I want to tell you, God has given you emotions. It's okay to be sad, and He allows us to go through grief. Jesus Himself, and I was looking through, again, the same few chapters that I look through every year to get something new and fresh. Jesus, according to His divinity, He was fully God and fully man. It's a virgin birth. His history as God was in heaven. But as you read Matthew chapter 1, He had a history on earth as well. Even Jesus had a history. And God designed it that Jesus, through His earthly parents, would have a history. And if you look at His history, earthly speaking, there are some amazing people. There are some people that made a lot of mistakes. And there's some really insignificant people. And when you look at our history, we've got some great history, I'm sure. You've all had some good days, haven't you? We've got some difficult history. There's things we would like to be blotted out for the history books. Days. When you look at Jesus' history, you would say a hero. In Matthew, he goes back to Abraham. We've been studying Romans, the father of faith. Great historical figure. Yet Abraham himself He made mistakes. He pretended, again how far he went with us, that his wife was his sister to escape some ridicule and maybe some persecution. But he's a father of faith. He's in Jesus' history. He made some mistakes. Then came along Isaac. He made the exact same mistake. Pretended his wife was his sister to avoid some persecution. You go through the list. Jacob. Great. He stole his brother's birthright. Maybe God was going to give him a different way. I think it's right to steal your brother's birthright. Jesus' history. Great people. Big mistakes. Some insignificant people. Verse 5 speaks about a guy called Salmon. That's a good Scottish name, isn't it? Something fishy about that lad I can't put my finger on. Fucking the story of Salmon. Nobody. Messly insignificant. He must have did something. He must have worked. There's a reason he's in the genealogy of Jesus. More well-known people: David, Hezekiah, Jesse, Boaz, Zerubbabel. What about Azor? The kind of story of Azor? Ammon, Mathan. There's her heroes. Even David, blood in his hands, big mistakes, public mistakes. Yet a hero, killing Goliath. Yet a hero, conquering the Philistines. In Jesus' genealogy, when you look at the history, the past, if we look in his past, time's gone past, great, not so great, insignificant. And I just wanted to take a moment to look at times gone past in our heart, how it affects us, and what God maybe wants to do in our life today, specifically for them, that when you look in the rear view mirror, because I feel as all I get, the more I look in the rear view mirror, and I'll say to my kids, maybe people that was my age group, mind you on time growing up. And I tell my kids, see, when we was growing up, it was different. And I get the feeling that I'm more like Mr. Griswold. And my number one Christmas movie is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I would love to just push play and watch a whole thing with you. And get out some popcorn. Kids would love it. Get out some popcorn. Get out some finest red and white Schloer. Get some sweet mince pies and watch a whole lot. But there is a scene that he gets stuck in a loft. Fucking what I'm speaking about. He gets, Abdi's gone away. He's want to hide some presents for his wife, as we do, men. And then they put up a loft. They put a door up a hatch. And he's stuck. And he puts his head out the window and starts, wait for me, come back. They're so eager to just go to the sails. They didn't hear him. So he's stuck. And then the plank scene, when he just keeps on standing on a plank, hits him off the face, stands on it. Am I the only one that's ever watched this? Or finds these stuff funny? Stands on another plank, whoo, whacks him off the face, and then you think he's getting out of this, and then stands on another plank, hits him off the face. And then he sits down. He gets his granny's scarf and hat that's freezing, and then he sits down, as I sometimes do around this time of year, and watches all movies. And I think some of us would enter into that, and you see his emotion. So I'm sorry, especially kids and Andra, that I'm not putting on the whole movie that's really, really funny, but I chose just a little clip because we're speaking about the past or how he responds when he's reviewing the past. And I got a few things to say. Okay, if we're ready to push play, we put our lights off. Brilliant.
Christmas is the time of year for being with the ones we love, sharing so much joy and cheer. What a wonderful feeling, watching the ones we love having so much fun. I was sitting by the fireside, taking a walk through the snow, listening to a children's choir, singing songs about Jesus.
C'est pas trop long pour toi, papa?
The blessed way that He came to us. Why can't it remain all through the year? Each day the same. That's what I want to hear.
Right, so that was the funny bit at the end. But I think all that I get, and then I'm like up. Now that I sit in my loft with my granny's scarf and hat on, right? But you look back and you mind yon time, especially the festive season. I was brought up at a time that kids' opinions wasn't so valued as it was the day. So when I look back at Christmas, and especially the Hogmanay season, my parents never asked me, how are you feeling about going to Uncle so-and-so's house? Or how are you feeling about going and visiting Abdi in the cul-de-sac? I was brought up in Scalway Park, where I was in a cul-de-sac, just house after house after house. There must have been about 20 houses in this cul-de-sac. It was a Hogmanay tradition, for mine and us, that you would visit Abdi in your cul-de-sac. For mine, I'm speaking to all people here, I can. Just at least sympathy, give me a sympathy hand. Aye. Now, your parents never said, how are you feeling about this? Are you too tired? I think today, it was just, back then, it was like, we're gone. We don't care if it time will be home. It doesn't matter how you're feeling about us. Get your jacket on, get your shoes on. We're going. You can sleep in the car or you can sleep in somebody's carpet. But it's not like the day. The kids have got a bigger opinion, I feel. We would go, so how are you feeling about going out? Oh, you're too tired. Or if they're too tired, well, we'll just phone them and say, we were supposed to go, but my kids are too tired. We're near gone. We're all going to bed in. That's what happens today. I'm part of that. It was never ever asked. We had two choices. If somebody put a meal in front of you, you came for the two choices are take it or leave it. It wasn't like we're having this, but do you want me to put in some chicken nuggets and a pizza for you separately? That did not happen in our house. Another show of hands for I lived up in the era. The kids was not the boss. I came, the kids are in the service this morning. Maybe they need to hear some of this. Just payback time. Bring up a child in the way they should go. They will not depart, but you have to. Right, okay. And we used to go in our cul-de-sac, the house to house. There was this pensioner's house that we went to, and the last name was Chicken. I'll always mind because her last name was Chicken, right? But there was a sweet old couple, and especially the kids. This was in a day without mobile phones, without PlayStations, without an Xbox. We had to go to these houses. We had to love it. We only had one thing we had to do, sit and listen to everybody else. And Macarena Entertainment, am I right? Which that's all there was today. You couldn't sit and watch a TV. because nobody was sitting watching TV. Everybody was just in a smoke-filled room speaking about stuff, right? And they said, that's right. So you had to make your own entertainment. I'm going somewhere else. That's right. You had to make your own entertainment. I was always glad, and me and my brother was always glad if we went to somebody like Chicken's house and there was a candle. Because the amount of fun a young kid could have with a candle was immense. And it reminds me of our lives, like looking back. It's a candle moment. There's that light that's stuck in history, and you kind of get it back. But it's good memories. A mine on time. For I was just a table, and there was some oranges, and there was a candle, and I'm not got a DS, right? But me and my brother used to dip the wax into, we just needed a candle and a plate. Dip the wax into a plate and put your finger into this really hot wax. This is your entertainment, and I wouldn't swap it for anything in the world. I keep this memories, and it's not just about a PlayStation. And then me and my brother used to have the melted wax on our fingers. We used to peel off one by one, while other adults were doing their thing and having a laugh and being jolly. And we used to put our wax-melted fingers, tips, and then we used to repeat the process. And we used to take the wax and dip it back in and recycle. I could do hours and hours of that back then. But I wonder, as the years go on, that sometimes the light of the candle sometimes flickers in our life. And we look back and we think it was great then, and we can that we kind of revisit it. And I'm not just speaking about close family. I went on to have close pals that we used to, the Hogmanay season was always far it was at with us. And when you see a post on Facebook, a parent and their child that you palled about with near there on him there, it could be like Griswold. You just, I'm sad about that. The debate, well, that was your whole life, son, and all that. Put that to one side. I had some good times. We are a lot of good people. And you miss them. And it makes you to be sad when you realize that times are gone. And it's like the candle, and you appreciate everybody that's in your life. So it's never that. It's never being ungrateful. It's being human. It's realizing that you've got a history, and realizing because you've got a history, like Jesus had a history, there's some great moments, there's some bad moments, there's some moments you would like to change, but Nino, it seems to change. And sometimes this is what I learned at other people's houses, that you can cause a candle just to flicker. Do not try this unless your mom and dad isn't watching. So you can cause it just to flicker a bit. I think I'll put it out. That's ruined my illustration, isn't it? Anyway, the candle, the memories. You would say that the candle burns brightly in the past, but there's something missing today. And it's like a flickering. I was brought up in a time without this candle put out ours. You see that people, grown men, have got devices these days to put out candles. We used fingers. And am I allowed to say saliva? Jesus used it to do a miracle, so there we go. And it's just as though the candle flickers. But there's a gospel of good news. And there was somebody that was going to be born in that was prophesied over this time. So if you are somebody in here this morning and you would say, I resonate with that, the grief, the sadness, the approach to this season, what has God got for me? There was one that was prophesied in Isaiah 42. Look at my servant, that is Jesus, whom I strengthen. He is my chosen one who pleases me. I have put my spirit upon him. He will bring justice to the nations. He will not shout or raise his voice in public. He will not crush the weakest reed. And another version it says he will not snap a bruised reed. We could speak about the most wonderful time on earth. We could speak about the majesty and the glory of God. But you have to ken that if you're here this morning and you've got sadness and grief, and you would say, Kevin, I'm bruised. My history has bruised me. Then Jesus' tender heart for you is, I have nae come to snap you. I have nae come to overlook your bruisedness. I have nae come to look at your history and see somebody broken and snap them for his purposes. A bruised reed he will not break. And then it says this, and he will not put out a flickering candle. And I think there's people in here this morning, because of history, because of what you're gone through, that you would say about you, my candle, it's flickering. It's still there. I've got great memories, but I'm struggling to find my place today. I have got some light, but it's a flickering candle. The words of Jesus that was prophesied, he has not come to put out your flickering light in the candle. Often we can get ourselves in a feeling or a season of grief and sadness. We can think, far is God, far is his plan, far's the joy, far was he then, far is he now. And Jesus' heart to you is, even if your candle is about to go out, he comes, he acknowledges the history, he realizes you're human, and says, I have come to light your fire again. I have come to breathe fresh life, fresh purpose. I've not come to snuff you out, and so that you think you're a nothing. I came and paid the ultimate penalty on that cross, resurrected from the grave, so that you could know you've a Savior that loves you. And he cares for you. And he's gentle. And he's humble. And he sees the beginning for the end. He sees your loss. He sees your pain. He sees you at Chicken's house playing with a candle. And he sees the people that you've lost throughout your life. He sees the memories you've got. But he says, I have not come to say that you're useless, that your life is in the rear view mirror. But as we experienced in the prayer meeting on Tuesday, God can burn in your heart today. And it doesn't mean that all your problems go, that you didn't experience any sadness, that you didn't have grief. That's very human. It just means you face it with light. The light of the gospel of Jesus Christ. He's got a heart for you. And as you approach this season, for some of you, it's daunting. For some, it's tinged with sadness. But within that, God can comfort you in your distress, because his heart is that if you're bruised, I'll mend. If you feel as though it's gone out, your light's about to fade, I'll not blot you out, Jesus says. I'm not here to snuff you out. I'm not here to lick my fingers and dull out everything about you. I'm here for you. I love you. You've got a plan and a purpose that's just for you. Let's stand. I'm going to pray for people this morning. I ask your worship team to come up. We are going to do this quickly. I think we have to push into what God is doing and saying. And I will go back to the prayer meeting. The theme was fire. The theme was light. And then this morning, I believe by God's design, it's the same theme. And so the two are very interlinked. And so I am going to ask, if you do want prayer, that you can come forward. And I am going to ask that the people that prayed for people, if it's okay with Elsa and Margaret, that they would simply lay hands on you and pray for you for the fire of God. And we're now asking by direction for Elsa and Margaret. We are time sensitive the day because we've got stuff to move into. So we're just going to ask that they would just simply pray their best prayers. We're not looking for one thing. We had time on Tuesday, as Fam said. But I think it's right that if you do want prayer to do with it was spoken about, then just leave your seats and come forward. If you're not able to leave your seats for any reason, please put your hand up. We'll see you and we'll get to direct them to you. But during this next song, I think it's right if you just want an opportunity just to receive just a fresh fire of God upon your life, then come forward. And we'll make sure you get prayed for before you leave. The gospel and the kingdom of heaven is not just a matter of words, but a power. Maybe my words this morning can go so far, but the power of God can get to places that my words cannot. And maybe you just need somebody to pray with you. If nobody comes, that's not a downer on the meeting, a downer on somebody else's ministry. It's perfectly fine. But it's good to give people an opportunity who want prayer, come forward. So Jesus, I've said enough. I thank you for your heart towards your people.